Kentucky is a really, really good 2-lap track. So I say we change the name of the Quaker State 400 to the Quaker State 3, because that's all Kentucky really needs at this point. We've seen it the last 2 years. It's been a while since I've done one of these. It's a race review of Kentucky, basically of the final 2 laps of this race, basically the final sequence of this race, and how basically everything lined up perfectly to make this finish way better than what it was going to be, and way better than how the race was. So it is a well-known fact on this channel, if you have watched just a single NASCAR video of mine, that Kentucky is my least favorite track. It is a track I despise. Whenever we go to Kentucky, I hate it. I just hate the track. It's a 1.5 miles. It doesn't produce much, and then they repaved it. They made it worse. Yeah, it all goes on, right? It's not a great racetrack. So it is one place where I will blame the track over the package normally. And so, yeah. So this race, right? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. The race was pathetic. You go and you look at however many laps they ran before the final green-white checker. It was just, it was bad. They would have a few good laps on a restart, and even some of the restarts weren't that great. Then they'd get strung out single file. It'd be hard to pass. You'd move low to pass someone. You'd lose spots. You restart on the inside. You lose spots. At one point, Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, I think they restarted 3rd and 5th. Kyle fell back to 10th, and Brad fell back to 14th. That's how bad the inside was on that restart, because their line didn't get going, because it's all about momentum. And then you go and you try to make passes up through the field, and you kind of stall out at a certain point depending on how good your car is. Martin Truex Jr. had one of the fastest cars at the track on Sunday, and once he got up inside the top 10, he needed cautions and restarts and pit stops and pit strategy to get him up to the front. He stalled out at around 10th to 9th, and then got some restarts where he restarted on the outside and made passes because of that. That's what it was. If you restart on the outside, you were gaining spots on restarts. That's just how it is. So that's how it is. It's all about restarts, especially at a track like Kentucky, where you just can't pass no matter what. No matter what you do, you just cannot pass at Kentucky. Even if you're running a low downforce, high horsepower package, you're still not passing at Kentucky. As far as passing rates went, I believe this race had 13 or 14 lead changes. I would say 10 of them coming within the final 50 laps. Because of pit strategy, and then some yellows that lined up perfectly, especially one of the BS yellows. I'll explain about that. And then in terms of passing, green flag passes, last year at Kentucky had 3,000 or so. This year had, I think, 1,900. That's not good. I think it had just under 2,000, basically 19 something. I think 2018 had 18 something, 2017 sucked, 2016 had 17 something. So I mean it was basically on par for an average Kentucky race, which means it was not good. And even last year's wasn't good. It was apparently better in terms of passing stats. I don't really remember last year's because Kentucky is a track I kind of bog out any memories of, but it was apparently better in the passing category. So what led to all of this madness happening? So, they're in their final pit strategy, their final pit window, where, they're going to come down, they're going to make their green flag pit stop, and that'll be it. They'll be done for the day on pit road. They're in this final run to the green flag, or to the checkered flag. Austin Dillon spins, coming into pit road, brings out a yellow flag. So now, some people are trapped a lap down. People that haven't pitted yet, who are basically at the back of the field, can now stay out and gain track position. Those drivers being drivers like Kevin Harvick, and you have William Byron and others that just were nowhere to be seen at the front of the field all day long, now have good track position inside the top 10 because they got a lucky break. Lucky breaks are a part of racing. That just happened, whatever. A very, very lucky yellow for these drivers. It gets them into position. Kevin Harvick was a 20th place car all day long, but he got cleaner on the nose of his 4 car, and he was looking like he could have ran inside the top 3. It looked like he had the top 3 car when he was out in front. That's how good clean air is here at this racetrack. So then we got a restart. Jimmy Johnson comes through the field. We get another yellow flag. Jimmie Johnson tries to block off Brad Keselowski on the ensuing restart, spins himself around. That restart was very interesting. Brad laid back about a car length to get a run onto Jimmie Johnson. Brad kind of went up behind Jimmie and then moves out the last second. Not like, he obviously didn't want to make the move first because Jimmie would obviously block that. He made a late move. Jimmie made a late block. They just came together in the apron, spun themselves around. But that is kind of where I'm like, the package kind of set that up, because you have an engine that has been shotgunned and it's 550 horsepower, right? So you have no power whatsoever, which means on the restart, you're not really spinning the tires. There's not enough power to do that. Basically, the only way you're getting an advantage is if the guy behind you hooks up with you, and then you have a combined amount of horsepower. So that second place guy basically needs to push you. The guy behind you needs to push you on the restart. Basically, if you're on the first row and second row, the first row needs that second row to push. The third row can do whatever the hell they want, but if that second row does not push the first row, whatever row does not get the push is not getting the race lead, right? Unless you're on the outside, you have a shot. If you are on the inside, which was the case with Jimmie and the race leader, if you are Jimmie and you go out to pass Ryan Blaney, right? That inside lane is going nowhere. You will drop back 5 positions. You're not going to do anything. For Brad Keselowski, he can't lift there because momentum is everything, so he'll lose spots. The only thing he could do there is pull out and try and make a pass. It's not going to stall out, but Jimmie was doing his job on the restart, and because he did his job, he got swallowed up by the guys behind him. That is what I hate about this package, right? Sure, the restarts are amazing with it. I will say that. I will say that until the day this package leaves. The restarts are amazing with it. However, it sets this up where Jimmie is put into a box. If he pulls out to pass Ryan Blaney to go for the race lead, he will lose 5 spots. If he stays with Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski is going to run and pass him because he laid back on the restart. Jimmie was basically in a lose-lose situation on that restart because of the position he was in third with this package. He could not do anything else except push Ryan Blaney and hope that Brad didn't have enough for a run to go and pass him, or that he could block the run in time, which he couldn't do. That is the position these drivers are put in if they start on the second row. Last year at Kentucky, when Kurt Busch won the race, why did Kurt Busch win? Because he got help from Kyle Larson on the restart. Joey Logano last year on the restart when leading did nothing wrong. He just didn't get a push on the restart. It is all about getting help on restarts, all about getting a push. Basically restarts are mini Daytonas and Talladegas. If you do not push the lane in front of you, that lane is not going to win the race. You need to stay cooperative with the lane in front of you. Kurt Busch last year had help from Kyle Larson, his teammate. Joey Logano had no help from teammates. Kyle Busch had help from Eric Jones. Logano lost because he had not a single teammate at the front of the field. That is what it has turned into. You will not win you're basically not going to win by yourself unless you get a push from behind, which is very, very sad. You're not really controlling your own destiny anymore. Obviously you do. You have to get enough restart to get going, but Ryan Blaney's fate was fully in the hands of Jimmie Johnson. If Jimmie pulls out to pass him, Blaney loses that race. If Jimmie pushes Blaney, Blaney possibly has a shot to win that race. It is all dependent on that. On other packages, sure, if you pull out past, it will still be a deficit for that lane, but it's not going to kill that lane. You could pull out and make 3 wide moves. It's not going to absolutely murder a lane on a restart. That's the box Jimmie was put in and Brad was put in, and it unfortunately Jimmie paid the price for it, and that's just how it goes with this restart package. So then we had a pretty bogus yellow late in this race. So Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr. are lining up to battle for the win. Kevin Harvick gets the race lead on the restart. Once again, restart package. Martin Truex Jr. follows through to second. Truex has had, once again, one of the best cars, if not the best car of the day. Kevin Harvick has had a 20th place car. Harvick is holding him off for laps. Truex finally goes out to make a pass there. Side by side, Kevin pulls ahead. The yellow flag comes out. Why does the yellow come out? Matt Kenseth has spun back of the field. Okay, Kenseth spun. However, the caution was not called until he started to roll away. So Kenseth spins in front of some cars. No yellow is called. He spins onto pit road. He is on pit road. He's leaving the scene, and they throw the yellow. They waited to throw the yellow. They did not throw it as soon as he started spinning. I was listening to Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, and the NASCAR officials radio, right? I heard Kent Esparza say, "All right, hold on to it, whatever. We're spinning right here." Goes on to pit road. He goes, "All right, get it going. We're on pit road, guys." And then I hear, "Put out," and I'm like, yeah, they waited to throw that. They obviously were like, this isn't going to be too entertaining. We need some excitement. We need a late race restart. So that was a pretty bogus yellow to begin with. I mean, like, there's a case if they throw it as soon as he starts spinning, but he was sitting there for 10 seconds and got it going, and then you throw the yellow? Why? You know, he was going already. He was leaving the scene. There was nothing in the way. You didn't have to throw that yellow. Granted, it set up this amazing finish, but it's a pretty bogus yellow, in my opinion, that happened, right? So in this final restart, Kevin Harvick, Truex, Blaney, and Cole Custer are the big names in this. So Truex and Harvick go side by side. Harvick on the outside, Truex on the inside. Truex tries to get up behind Harvick as quick as he can to get the draft, and he misjudged it, and he hits Kevin. Kevin goes down to the inside, gets sideways. Truex and tries to get up to the outside. Cole Custer is trying to get up to the outside. He almost runs Custer into the wall. Custer somehow maintains momentum around the outside. Blaney goes around the inside 3 wide. So now the race leaders are 3 wide, and this is where Cole Custer is in the perfect position coming down to the white flag. Those 3 in front are stalling each other out, just being side by side. They don't even have to side draft. The side draft is adding the stallment out. But with them being side by side, it is just adding a huge run for Cole Custer. Those front 3 are screwed. Right, being side by side with this package, you are going so much slower when you are side by side, especially at a place like Kentucky. So Custer gets a run way up on the outside 4 wide. Ryan Blaney hits the pothole on the apron. I've mentioned this pothole in NASCAR Heat 4 before. I think it was the Krispy Kreme Line Series where I was racing. I went down to the inside on the apron on a restart, went down too low and hit the pothole, and it shot me up to the right and almost wrecked some of the field. That pothole is the drainage ditch. It is basically it's like a sewer. It's like a manhole down there. I don't know why it's there. I don't know why it's not in the grass, but it's on the apron where people are going to be running. Blaney's going down there trying to get away from the side drive, trying to get as much momentum as he can because he has a run just like Cole Custer does. And he nails that pothole, which other drivers have hit before, but it shoots him up right into the side of Kevin Harvick, and they bang doors. I mean, it was such a... In the picture, you can see that is smoke from Ryan Blaney because he hit the pothole. That's how aggressive and abrasive that is. Heat 4 captures that well. I can tell you that right now because I felt like that when I hit it. Cole Custer gets on the outside and wins the race and has screwed up the chase format, or has screwed up the playoff rankings, because now he's in with the win. He was down 25th in points at the start of the race. He's now in with the win when he was not going to have a shot at the chase at all. And now drivers that are up in position in points like William Byron, Jimmy Johnson, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, they are now on the outside looking in, or barely on the inside. So I think Jimmy and William have about 20 to 30 points to work with. The rest of the drivers are 30, 40 points back. One driver that I think could really spoil it, though, is Eric Jones. He's in JGR equipment. He has had some good runs this season. If he can sneak in a win, that will change it again. And obviously we have Daytona as the regular season finale. That could change things last second. So, I mean, golly, man. The chase is just taking an unexpected... I can't remember a time where someone that was low in points won besides Chris Buescher. You know what I mean? I think that... And obviously the first season it happened with, AJ and Eric and stuff like that. But, it has been a long time since we've seen someone absolutely ruin the chase grid because they won a race. Once again, that is a little bit of a farce with this chase format, because now you have a driver sitting 16th in points that is outside to a guy who's probably now 24th in points because he won a race. Winning's everything in this day and age in NASCAR. It's not... Once again, another thing I don't like about NASCAR is that, but... I mean, I think this is too much ragging on NASCAR. I will say, great finish, amazing finish. You don't always see 4 wide at the white flag, so that's something I can compliment. It was definitely aided by the package. Not aided. It was fully because of the package that happened. You don't see that every day in NASCAR, so that was exciting. Granted, it was set up by a bogus caution, but it happened, so... It was exciting, that's for sure. A rookie got the win. A rookie is now in the chase officially, and it was maybe the one rookie we all didn't think would do it. You know, I mean, if you were to ask me 2 races ago which rookie is making the chase, I would say Tyler Reddick, hands down. And Christopher Bell's been improving, but Cole Custer's done nothing, and John Hunter Nemechek, he's done decent. I think he was the second best rookie before this race, but he's in bad equipment, obviously. So, that's just how it goes. So Kentucky's over. We have the All-Star race at Bristol Wednesday night. That's going to be hopefully fun. Short track racing. Always love short track racing. And obviously last time we were at Bristol, we saw some temper. So with it being the All-Star race, God knows what's going to happen there. So Kentucky, I say we start a petition to just make the race 2 laps, and then we don't have to sit through 265 laps of nothingness to get to a late caution. So this track is aided by late yellows the past 2 seasons. It can only hope that it just keeps getting yellows with under 5 to go, because that's all you need. That's all you need. You just need a yellow with under 5 to go, and you'll have something exciting happen with this package, especially since the runs are so big and don't help people. You do help people. That's just kind of the game you're stuck in on restarts nowadays. So I think that's enough. That's enough digging on the package and the track and the chase format. That's basically everything I had to dig on. Don't worry, if we do go to Texas, which that's apparently in jeopardy, but if we do go to Texas and the race is just as bad as I think it's going to be, I will make another video about how bad repaves are and how bad they screwed up Texas. So we can do that as well if Texas does get run and if it is as bad as I think it's going to be, because I go into Texas with about the same expectations I go into Kentucky with. It's basically nothing. I don't go in with any expectations. So for Kentucky, terrible race, great finish. I mean, if I had to give it a ranking, I don't know. Like, maybe in the 40s, high 30s. I don't know. I think last year's was definitely better. I think this one was maybe on par with like a 2018 type, 2016. 2017 was in a low. I think this is maybe on par with, obviously maybe a little bit higher than 2018 since this had the finish to boot with it. But I don't really know. In my eyes, it's just another average Kentucky race, which isn't good because Kentucky hasn't been great. Especially, I've watched 4 Kentucky races, and it's like, I think it's received like, I don't know what highest score is on the thing. Someone could go look at that, but it's not good. So, thanks everyone for watching this one. I'll see you guys for the next one.